for our family and ones that we're grieving that are still alive, we just want them to validate our experience. We just want them to see it from our perspective, that what we experienced and felt was very, very real, no matter what the situation is. Hello, how are you doing today? I have got a good one for you. Actually, we are going somewhere really, really cool. Stay till the end. We've got a great destination that I'm going to on the walk. Today is about grieving someone who is still alive, right? That I've been talking about grief lately, and grief is really hard. It's such a deep-seated emotion, and it feels insanely crummy, right? And it's really hard grieving someone who is still alive but is no longer in your life. And that's tough because I've had both, right? You know, I've talked about my mom and having that, you know, that had to set that boundary of she's no longer in my life for good reason. And I've also lost people along the way because of my mom. So I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was younger, like probably ages of like 10 to 16, I had an aunt, and I was really close with this aunt. She was one of my absolute favorite people because for my birthday and for Christmas, I would get to go off with her, and we would go to lunch and we would go shopping at the mall. And so she would pick me up and we would make a whole day of it, because when I was growing up, we did not have a whole lot of money. My parents really barely met ends meet a lot of times. We always had a roof over our head. We always had food to eat. There's just not a lot left over for extras. And I'm for sure grateful that I was never houseless and that I always had food. And it just didn't leave a whole lot of room for the extras. So my aunt, she would take me out for the day. We would pick a lunch place. We would go shopping. I would get a whole outfit, shirt, bottoms, and shoes. My parents not having a lot of money, it was mostly Walmart shopping that we did, back to school shopping. And so that's where I got a lot of my clothes. So fast forward to having Ethan and Ben. Ethan's in kindergarten age. Ben is just probably 5-6 months old. And we get invited to their big shindig every year. My aunt and uncle had a big shindig for New Year's Day that they would do. At this shindig, the whole family would go, all the extended family. They would all bring food. We would spend the whole day over there doing games, and it was one of my favorite things to look forward to in the year. So we get invited to go to this. At this point in time, we had to get a restraining order against my dad. That's a different story for another day, but we had to get a restraining order against my dad because of something that he did and that happened. And in doing that, we couldn't be around him. He could not be around us, which meant if we were invited to a family gathering, we couldn't go if my parents were going. So this particular gathering we got invited to, my parents got invited to as well. My cousin called me and said, hey, your mom and dad have definitely decided to go. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. We'll just stay home. You know, my parents can have the time with the family. It's not a big deal. We will stay home. So my mother, knowing that we got invited too, and she found out that we were not going to be going. Last I had heard, she was going to go with my dad and so on. So we stayed home that day. My mother, after telling everyone that she was going, decided to stay home that day. And then she told the majority of the family that it was my fault because of the restraining order. And it was a whole big mess. And my aunt took my mom's side. And so in my aunt taking my mom's side, I lost all contact, all relationships. She wouldn't talk to me because she believed my mother over me. And still to this day, I haven't had a relationship with her since then. And that was back when I was 22, 23. When you have someone so prominent in your life, right? And that person chooses to no longer be in your life, to cut you out, to put all the blame on you, that's really heartbreaking. That's really tough because as a kid, you go from spending so much time with this person and just really looking up to this person and admiring this person, and then poof, they're gone, but they're still alive, right? So not only am I missing my aunt, right? I'm also missing my mom, because that's just it. My mom's alive and we don't have anything to do with her or my family. The majority of my family. My mom has kind of cut me off over the past couple decades from pretty much everyone. And that is tough, to grow up becoming an adult without family around you that you grew up with. And I think honestly, the best thing that I did was realizing that they were doing the best they could with the information that they had. My parents' experience is valid. My aunt's experience is valid. My experience is valid. And it was very different from their experience. I've come to realize over the years that my chosen family, that's the important ones. Kyle, my kids, my friends, you, the chosen people that I have in my life are so important because they choose to be here. My friends choose to be here. The people that is in your life choose to be with you. And the people that don't, they're missing out. And it hurts. It hurts that they're missing out. You're not alone in that, because you want them to be there. You expect them to be there. And in my case, my aunt didn't even hear me out, didn't even give me the benefit of the doubt. I was staying home because that way it allowed my parents to go, because we couldn't be in the same place at the same time. And from my perspective, I'm like, well, I don't understand why you're mad at me, right? And so my aunt has my mom in her ear saying something completely different. And that was hard, to be a 22, 23-year-old girl, and literally my grandma was the only biological family and another aunt and a cousin that had anything to do with me. And grieving that loss of like, my kids won't have a big family. My kids won't have that, so many people around them. Something I have learned though, quality outweighs quantity tenfold. Just because there's a quantity amount of family and a quantity amount of people doesn't mean that's what's best for us. Not having so much family influence, right? Because families can be very opinionated. Not having that much family influence has allowed me to really become me, not feel like I have to listen to all the outside noise that most families have. You got your mom, your aunt, your sister, your cousins, and they all have an opinion of what you should do or what you shouldn't do. This place that we're staying is right on the Saginaw Bay, and so that little surprise is right up around the corner. But this has been so great for my mental health. That's another thing, that in all of these things that I've had to grow through and realize, nature has helped me in every single one of them. Going on a nature walk, going and touching a tree, going and grounding myself in these times when I'm stressed, there's big emotions, there's so much going on inside of me. When I'm feeling, anytime that anything is coming on, especially grief, because grief, as we know, so deep, so tough, so hard. It's one of those mucky, yucky, sticky, stuck kind of emotions, right? So anytime I'm in one of those, one of the first things I do when I'm able is I go out for a walk. I go get in nature. I go touch a tree, and it helps. It doesn't take everything away, right? But what it does do is it brings me down to clarity. So when I'm feeling that overwhelm, that unloved, that abandonment, and these people are literally still alive, is living not very far away. And so I'm in that, right? And I come out here into nature and I look at the birds and stare at the leaves and feel the breeze cross my face. Then I can get down to a little bit lower, right? That crazy overwhelm is all up here, and you can just bring it down slightly to get into clarity, being able to see that, you know what? I have my chosen family around me. I have people in my life that love me for me. You know, I think that for our family and ones that we're grieving that are still alive, we just want them to validate our experience. We just want them to see it from our perspective, that what we experienced and felt was very, very real, no matter what the situation is. And the reality is they may never do that. They may never accept our experience as valid or real or worthy. They might be so caught up in their own ego and their own pain body that they're never going to recognize that. And that's something we have to accept. And when we can accept that and say out loud, okay, chances are my aunt is never going to come back into my life. And that sucks. We can sit in that moment for a minute and grieve that. We can sit there and just get into acceptance that, yeah, that's my reality. And as soon as we do that, we can find gratitude in anything, the air in our lungs, our friend that called us yesterday, the person we went out to coffee with, our partners, our kids. There's so many things to be grateful for. Because for the longest time, I was upset and I was mad and I was hurt about it. And the thing is that finding gratitude helped me get out of that not-enoughness. The sitting in that grief of I don't have XYZ in my life, the don'ts, the can'ts, the won'ts, that's that not-enoughness creeping in. And something we have to remember is that no matter what moment we are in, no matter who we are with, no matter where we are located, we are always enough to be ourselves. And if someone has an issue with that, that's theirs to carry. That's not yours. You keep shining that light bright. You keep doing you, because that's what the world needs more of. The world doesn't need more of not enoughness. The world needs more of the beauty that only you can put in it. We have actually made it to our destination, this secret little spot. And I will tell you, these little hidden gems are all over the country. I kid you not, everywhere we go, there's always some sort of nature something. And this campground lucked out. It's actually an observation tower. And I came up here with Eli and Kyle earlier. Kyle goes out now. He's been walking for 10 days every morning. He started jogging the past 2 days, so he's doing really, really well. And we love to take Eli out because it helps him get that bottled energy out, and helps us bond as just the three of us. And if Molly and Ben want to go, they get to come too. But I'm really excited to share this with you. This really groovy spot. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready. I don't know if you are. Look at this beautiful spot. That's Saginaw Bay, right out there. This is all the marshlands. that's below us here. Look at this just beautiful area. You know, I think that grief is really hard. Grief sucks. I'm just going to come out and say it. Grief sucks. It's not a great emotion, right? Because grief lives in that not-enoughness land of where nothing is ever good enough, the hopelessness, the dread, the shame, the fear, all of those really heavy, big emotions. It lives in there. In order to come out of that muck and rise up your energy, I found one thing to be very beneficial, and that's to give gratitude. Giving gratitude for the simplest things, because the not-enoughness is real. It feels so deep and so heavy. And when we just make a simple choice to choose gratitude, like, I am grateful for this beautiful view I have right now. I am grateful that I have shoes on my feet. I am grateful that my kids are happy and healthy. I am grateful for my amazing partner who we're working to grow together. I am grateful for you being here, sharing this space with me. Gratitude shifts our entire energy. It helps us rise out of those mucky, yucky, nasty emotions and be able to breathe. So today, if you're struggling with someone who you're grieving that's alive, find gratitude in the people that are around you. No matter how big, no matter how small, quality over quantity, always. Get out in nature. List 3 things that you're grateful for today. Let me know how you feel. Every time I do it, I feel pretty damn good. At least better than what I started as, right? Because that's the goal. Growth. And finding gratitude definitely helps you find growth too. Thank you so much for coming over today, for walking with me. These things are hard that we're talking about and growing through together. These are not easy. And I want to say a big thank you to you, 1, for being here, and 2, Linda gave us a little drop in our coffee jar, and we were able to take the kids out to Bronner's Christmas Wonderland in Frankenmuth. We got some hot chocolate, so we had a wonderful day because of you, Linda. Thank you so, so much for making that special for us. Yeah, I think I'm going to sit here for a few minutes. So you, be careful heading home. Safe travels. Thank you for being here and being you. I love you so much.